Welcome. This is lab number 2 for General Chemistry 101. The title of the experiment is Caffeine Extraction. We're going to extract caffeine from Mountain Dew. Extraction is a separation technique based on physical properties. Therefore, the compound itself does not change during the extraction process. In order to do a separation, we have to have two different solutes, two different solvents mixed together. And normally we try to ensure that the two solvents are not miscible or they do not mix very well with one another. However, in this experiment, we have two solvents that can mix very well with one another. The solvents that we are going to use are isopropyl alcohol and Mountain Dew. But Mountain Dew has water in it. So basically what we are having is a colored Mountain Dew containing caffeine dissolved in water, and the other layer is going to be the isopropyl alcohol layer. Because water and isopropyl alcohol dissolve in one another, we have to reduce the solubility. And to reduce the solubility, we add an ionic compound like sodium chloride in the mixture so that now caffeine, which is soluble in water, because of the addition of sodium chloride, will become more soluble in isopropyl alcohol. And by just shaking the mixture using a separation funnel, we can separate out the two layers, in which the alcohol layer will contain most of the caffeine in it. Then if we open the stopcock of the separatory funnel, then we can drain out the colored Mountain Dew, which now does not have much caffeine, and then evaporate the alcohol using a hot plate, and we'll get the solid caffeine left. Now, I'm going to share my experiment with you so that you can see how it is done. So go to the file, and if you on ChemLab, go to the file, select Caffeine Extraction Lab, and then you will see 3 headings: Introduction, Procedure, Observation. Read the introduction carefully because it will give you an idea of what I have described in brief so that you can write your own introduction. The chemicals required for this experiment are clearly given in the introduction, and so you can write the materials that are there. The equipment that is required is found under observation. So read the procedure very carefully so that you get all the information about the equipment requirement for this particular experiment. Note them down individually what you are doing and then complete that. The objective of the experiment is to find out the amount of caffeine that is there in a Mountain Dew can. That is what you have to do. And so we go to the procedure, and please follow the procedure. Read it. It's a little bit a long experiment, but read the experiment and follow the steps one step at a time so that you can get through the experiment without having to repeat. Now, if you have to repeat, there is no problem because you'll get good practice of separating the mixture. That is them. So first thing, get a 100 ml beaker, then go to the Mountain Dew. Note, I'm not going to add the required whatever is stated in the procedure. You have to follow that. And there you have the Mountain Dew. Now, I'm going to go to the chemical dialog box again by right-clicking the mouse and go to sodium chloride. And I'm going to add again the amount that I need. Now you will see the salt and the Mountain Dew there. Better to go and check for a stirrer so that the salt is completely dissolved. Now, the addition of a salt will allow the will allow or decrease the solubility of the caffeine in water. And into this, again, right click the mouse and you again, please read the chemicals carefully and you add anhydrous isopropyl alcohol. Now you'll ask, what does the word anhydrous mean? Anhydrous means that the isopropyl alcohol has been distilled so that all, if there was any trace of water, it is completely removed. And usually such a solution is kept under calcium chloride to prevent any water getting dissolved in it. So we have a dry anhydrous isopropyl alcohol, which is shown as a white layer. Then it says go to the get the separatory funnel there. That's the separatory funnel, and pour the contents, decant it. So adjust the beaker and make sure that the liquid is flowing. Then into the separatory funnel. Then you say add the stopper. Don't start shaking without the stopper on top of the separatory funnel, because you know that if you try to shake an open container, everything will spill out. So then once you put the stopper inside, then you right click the mouse and say shake the separatory funnel. And you see that the separatory funnel is shaking up and down, sideways, and left and right and sideways. Let it shake till it remains stationary. Once it remains stationary, then first you go and get a 100 ml beaker. Again, a 100 ml beaker. Then you place the beaker below the separatory funnel, click on the separatory funnel, and first say remove the stopper. You have to remove the stopper before you can open the valve. Otherwise, a vacuum will be created and the whole separating funnel will burst and no liquid will drain up. Now, once you remove the stopper, then again go and right click on the mouse and say you want to remove the stopper. Then add remove the stopper. You go and say not pour. Just 1 minute. Remove this. Open or close the stopcock valve. So you open it. So keep an eye on it, and just make sure that all the Mountain Dew has removed. See, I've been talking, and therefore everything got transferred into the thing because I forgot to close it. So I would retransfer it or redo the experiment again just to ensure that the whole thing is separated out. Okay, get it down below and then open the stopcock and keep an eye on it. And then you say close it. Now you can see that I have the Mountain Dew separated and the alcohol layer separate. Once that is done, just make sure that there is no alcohol, and I see a little bit of alcohol. And so now I've tried to remove as much as possible. And so then what you do is get another 100 ml beaker. So you have your third beaker in place. So beaker 1 had this mixture. Beaker 2 has the highly salted Mountain Dew solution. And now you open the valve and let the whole thing come up. Now, if you see that there is again a little layer, then you use the separating funnel again to separate it out. And so if that is the case, then you close the valve and then go back and pour and decant and let it go again. And then again, you open the valve and see, repeat it a number of times as needed so that you can separate out the Mountain Dew layer from the funnel. And this requires some patience, as you can see, but I'm just going to show you now. Most of it is removed. And so I'm just going to, so you go on repeating the extraction till only the alcohol layer is there. Then you get another empty beaker, 100 ml beaker. You get it. At the same time, you get a balance, an electronic balance, weigh the empty beaker, record the beaker mass, and then record the beaker, and then remove it from the balance, and then pour the alcohol content. You can see there is still some, oh, I don't know what happened. Oops, I know what I did wrong, so this should have gone back. Pour in the can. Now, into this, you drain out the stopwatch so that you have only the alcohol left. So now you weigh the beaker. Write down the mass of the beaker or get another beaker. So now you see there is no Mountain Dew in it. So now get another beaker. So this beaker we have used. And so now this is the beaker that contains the Mountain Dew. So we go get another beaker, another 100 ml beaker, and then weigh this beaker. So do the experiment patiently. Write the mass of the beaker, remove the beaker, then pour the alcohol, pour and decant, pour and pour the alcohol, and then we don't have to, you can see what it says. Weigh the empty beaker, write it down. And now it doesn't ask you to weigh the alcohol sample. So now you go to the equipment, get a hot plate and a magnetic stirrer, keep it on. So that's the hot plate. So each step that you do, you make sure that you are doing it correctly so that now the next step, you have your beaker with the alcohol in it, place it on the hot plate, right click and say, increase the heat. So as you heat it, what's going to happen is you start with max, you can see that the alcohol is boiling off. Once the alcohol boils off, then you allow it to cool down and then take the weight and record it back, because now you have the beaker mass and the difference between the empty beaker and the beaker with the caffeine will give you the amount of caffeine in milligrams. If it is in grams, converted to milligrams by multiplying by 1,000 so that you get a mass. And then you answer the question, how many milligrams of caffeine would you expect to find in a can of Mountain Dew, which is 12 ounce or 355 milliliter. So wait, once you get it, I don't think there is anything else to show you, because all you have to do is heat it, vaporize the alcohol out, and then complete it. Once the whole experiment is done, then make sure that for each step you have your pictures in there so that you know what you have added and how much, and so you don't make a mistake. Once you write up, you get the observation, complete the calculations, then write the result, what you got, that is the amount of caffeine in milligrams and the amount of caffeine in 355 mLs or a can, 12-ounce can of Mountain Dew. Then do the discussion and conclusion. After you do the discussion and conclusion, the discussion is, remember, always based on the result that you got, and conclude, and also include what are the difficult points that you found when performing this experiment. Then you conclude your experiment by in one line stating how you separated out the mixture. What was the result of this separation? How many milligrams of caffeine you got? What was the amount of caffeine in the 12-ounce can? And what were the experiment difficulties? Once you finish that, then do remember that there is a homework sheet on the in the particular experiment folder. Complete that. Copy the questions onto your Word document, and then save all the document and upload it into the acknowledgement box for the particular experiment that is there. With that, I'm going to stop my share and complete the experiment.